Hey, this is journal page 14, lesson 1.3, which was subtracting integers. So for number 1, 3 minus 8 equals, and I look at this, when I look at this problem, I see two terms here. I see a positive 3, I see a negative 8. Different sign, so I subtract. And the negative has the bigger absolute value, so it stays negative. Negative 5. Number 2. 6 minus negative 7. The first thing we do when we see this is we take the minus and negative and we turn that into a big plus. And remember we saw in class today that was because we're adding the opposite, so it would be 6 plus a positive 7, which is just 6 plus 7. 6 plus 7 is 13. Number 3, negative 10 minus 9. Well, I don't see any double negatives right next to each other, so now I just go through and I look, I see we've got a negative 10, a negative 9. Same sign, so I add and keep the common sign, which is negative, negative 19. Number 4, negative 5 minus negative 4. I do see a minus and negative here. I turn that into a plus. And now I've got a negative 5 and a positive 4. Different signs, so I subtract. And I keep the sign of the larger absolute value, which in this case is the negative, so negative 1. Evaluate the expression here. So number 5, 11 minus negative 2 plus 14. I see a minus and a negative next to each other. That becomes a big plus. Well, this is now positive 11, positive 2, positive 14. I add them all up. 11 and 2 is 13. 13 and 14 is 27. Number 6, negative 16 minus negative 12 plus a negative 8. I see a minus and negative. I take care of that right away. So now I have a negative 16, a positive 12, and a negative 8. So I'm going to take my negative 16 and negative 8. I'll put those together first. They're both negatives, so it'll be negative 24. Oops. Negative 24 plus my 12. Different sign now, so subtract. 12 from 24 is 12, and my negative had the larger absolute value, so it's negative 12. Number 7, 6 minus 17 minus 4. I have a positive 6, a negative 17, and a negative 4. So I'll combine my two negatives first. Negative 17 and a negative 4 will be negative 23. Negative 21, sorry. And my positive 6. So now I have positive 6, a negative 21, different signs, so subtract. Get 15, and my negative has the bigger absolute value, so negative 15. So that's 7, 8. Use mental math to solve the equation. 6 minus x equals 10. Well, I know 6 subtract a positive number, the 6 will go down. I need to get up here. So really 6 plus 4 is what I want. But I can't get 6 plus 4 unless I had that minus a negative, which I could turn into a plus. So if I had 6 minus a negative 4, that would turn into a big plus and be 6 plus 4, which is 10. So I guess I needed x to be negative 4. Number 9. y minus negative 10 equals 2. Well, I know that this minus a negative would be a big plus, so something plus 10 equals 2. Well, if I'm going to add 10 to something and just get up to 2, I better have started in the negatives. It would have to be negative 8 degrees out and then warm up 10 degrees to get to 2 degrees. So negative 8 minus a negative 10 is how I get 2, or negative 8 plus 10 is how I get to 2. So y had to equal negative 8. Number 10 will go up here. And it says z minus 17 equals negative 14. So I'm combining a negative 17 with something to get negative 14. And it's not as negative as this negative 17, so I'm going to have to get, I would have to add 3 to this negative 17 to get up to 14. So 3 minus 17 equals negative 14. If I were doing this problem, I'd have a 3 and a negative 17, different sign, subtract, get the 14. Keep the sign of the larger one, so negative. So my z had to be 3. Number 11, you begin a hike in Death Valley, California at an elevation of negative 86 meters. It's below sea level. You hike to a point of elevation of 45 meters. Now you're above sea level. What is the change in your elevation? Well, for number 11, you started at 86 meters below sea level. You had to climb 86 meters to get up to 0. And then you had to climb another 45 meters to get up to this 45 meters. So at first you climbed 86 meters up, and then you climbed another 45 meters up. 45 meters up. And 86 plus 45 is 131 meters. So you have gone up 131 meters. Another way to look at this problem is to say, well, if I want to see how far away these points are, the distance between them, that's a subtraction problem to find the difference between those two. So we started at negative 86, and then we subtract 45. And we look at this and I say, oh, I have a negative here and a negative here, same sign. Add and keep. But I can't keep a negative because it's just how far did I go. And remember, we cannot have a negative distance, so we just leave it 131 meters. So either way you want to do that problem would work out well. Bing, so you can see my meters there. Awesome. And then number 12, you sell t-shirts for a fundraiser. It costs $112 to have the t-shirts made. You make $98 in sales. What is your profit? Well, hold on. Wait. So it cost us $112, so that'd be a negative $112. That's how much it cost us. But we made $98. Woohoo! Wait a minute. This is horrible. If we combine these two, I have a negative and a positive, so I subtract and keep the sign of the larger absolute value, which is the negative. How much money? We made negative $14. We did not help this fundraiser at all. In fact, we cost them money. They wish we didn't even show up. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you tomorrow.